Ladies and gentlemen, today something really weird happened, and that is the fact that Sledgehammer Games decided to take to Reddit to do an AMA. And if you don't know what that is, it's an Ask Me Anything, where people could leave their questions and they would try to answer revolving around Modern Warfare 3. And basically what ended up happening is every single person on that thread ended up asking about skill-based matchmaking. Now, from what we have heard in recent events, there was an interview between Sledgehammer Games and a content creator, which was really cool and really eye-opening. But they were told that they weren't allowed to ask any questions about skill-based matchmaking, essentially because devs are not allowed to comment on skill-based matchmaking. I don't know if it's above their pay grade. They don't touch it. It's directly at the Activision level. I don't know. But anyway, this Ask Me Anything filled up with skill-based matchmaking questions. And so Sledgehammer dodged them, except for one thing. We know that one thing about skill-based matchmaking is going to be adjusted in a coming update for Modern Warfare 3. But what I wanted to do in this video is go through and look at some of these things that they said about the game, what is changing, what is coming, and some of it is pretty interesting. So let me show you. So as you can see, one of the things trending on Twitter right now, it's right beside me, is skill-based matchmaking. And that, I'm assuming, is from this post going on today. Now, this feed that I'm looking at here is Charlie Intel on Twitter. You should check me out on Twitter. Also check Charlie Intel out. But he's kind of been posting the highlights as far as what Sledgehammer Games has talked about. So the first one that we have here, someone asked, will y'all add the SPAS 12? And their response was, there are multiple classic weapons from Modern Warfare series that we are looking to add in future seasonal updates, including shotguns and snipers. So in other words, we are going to be getting previous weapons from previous Modern Warfare games. That doesn't necessarily mean Modern Warfare 2019, but could be the original trilogy as well. You're asking me, send me that F2000. We need it in the game. The next question was, have you considered enabling streak looping? It's an option in private games, so it shouldn't be a big deal to enable it in the public playlist. I think it should be rewarded if someone is able to stay on a long streak. Having to die to get another UAV, for example, feels so outdated. There is a reason we left behind in COD 4, which is a funny way of wording that. They responded with, this is something that the team definitely wants to try out. One of the cool things about our experimental playlist, that's something they added last week with the outlines around players, is that they give us a chance to see how things work out in the wild. Expect to see something like this in a future experimental playlist, and make sure to share your feedback in a survey we place on Message of the Day. So apparently, based off of these experimental playlists, they're going to be asking things in Messages of the Day. So make sure you tell them what you like and what you don't like. Now we get to the big one. So this is the one that directly has to do with skill-based matchmaking. Someone asked in regards to disbanding lobbies, what is going on with that? And they said, in a future game update, we'll be testing non-disabling lobbies with a cohort of players to determine the performance of such change. If these tests go well, we'll explore a rollout to all players. Now, I don't know what that means for a certain cohort of players, but this is big because this is the first time ever in regards to something to do with skill-based matchmaking that it has actually been addressed. And I want to say this right now, Sledgehammer Games, good on you for actually saying something about it. I know you probably can't talk about skill-based matchmaking as a whole, and I know you probably want to because you want people to like your game, and you want them to understand if it's not something you want in your game, you want them to know why it's there. But if they're testing this and they actually give it a fair shake, and this comes to the game, this is one step. It would be the first and probably only ever step in the right direction, because this would mean if you get in a lobby that you actually enjoy playing in, if you stay in it, you get to keep playing in that lobby. So there's a chance that it'll happen. They're going to be testing it out. And if you end up getting this in any of your games in the recent future, let me know on Twitter, because this is something that I'd be very interested in to see how it works and why they don't end up implementing it. Another one coming here, the blast radius of grenades is a really big compared to other explosives. Will the hand grenade be nerfed? They said, we are actively investigating a reduction to the maximum damage of the frag grenade. These changes will decrease the damage taken by players both at the center and outer edges of the explosion. In other words, frag grenade getting nerfed. The next thing, this is a highly requested one, but it is the Groot skin. They said adjustments to the Gaia and Glaya Black Cell operator skins are in the pipeline for Modern Warfare 3. In a future game update, we will disable this item until said changes can be released to all players. That is insane. So they're nerfing the skin essentially because it's very difficult to see. They're going to make it more easily able to see. And until it's actually fixed, they are removing it. Now, this will make some people mad because they paid for this item, but this is a good thing for the game as a whole. And I'm glad that they actually said something about it because it involved a microtransaction. I actually assumed that they wouldn't talk about this one at all, but here we are. They actually talked about it. One thing that I've been asked about a lot in comments is final kill cams, so this is addressing that. Fixes for both final kill cams and HUDs are in progress. In a future game update, we will have a balancing adjustment for the scatter mine and RGL 80 that are specific to the hardcore playlist. These items are currently overperforming due to the decreased health. So if you don't know what's going on with that, there's a specific weapon camo that you probably want to get before that actually happens. It's the RGL 80 if you couldn't tell. People were asking about covert sneakers and the intention behind them working with Bone Conductor or not, and they said, we will continue to monitor the performance of perks, but at this time, there are no planned changes to the covert sneakers. It is important to note that players aren't totally silent with this perk equipped. There are still other sounds that can give them away. Just as a response to that, there are barely any, and I'm not sure whether it should work with Bone Conductor or not. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Should you be able to hear covert sneakers even a little bit with Bone Conductor on? What are your thoughts? So that is essentially all of the big ones that they have covered so far. I really wanted to get the just disbanding lobbies one out to you guys to hear what you guys have to say about it. I think it's insane that there is something as big as skill-based matchmaking in the game that they just aren't allowed to talk about. I actually feel bad for the developers a little bit that Activision puts literally Activision's foot in the developer's mouth, that they can't talk about this literally game-changing and in some cases game-breaking system that they have implemented in this game. And I'm sure the developers don't like that. At the very least, they can't talk about it. I'm sure they would love to say, hey, Activision makes us put this in the game. The reason why they do it is because it increases player retention. We have people playing twice as much because of this system compared to without it. We'll try for a weekend to remove it, but none of that can actually be said. And we know this because people have gone in for interviews with the developers and been told they will not be answering any questions about skill-based matchmaking. And the fact that this comes out, this AMA comes out, and the board is flooded with skill-based matchmaking questions, and the title of it is, we will answer anything about Modern Warfare 3, and they don't address a single one of them, tells me that they never will. However, Sledgehammer Games, good on you for talking about the disbanding lobbies. That is probably the closest we will ever get to a talk about skill-based matchmaking with a developer, and I'm glad you guys are trying to be open and forthcoming with information about your game. There's no reason to hide it. People want to play your game, they just want to know that it's moving in the right direction. Maybe this is something that you should do monthly with people being able to ask questions and things like this. I think that would definitely be a good thing. To my knowledge, you're the only developer to actually do this. I think they did it with Vanguard, and I think they did it with World War II as well. I could be wrong about that, but I have that somewhere up in my memory. You can let me know if they did or didn't down in the comments. But skill-based matchmaking, is it changing? Nope. Will we be getting non-disbanding lobbies? Maybe. Big maybe. Doubt it, but maybe. But that's the information we got for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars.